Lesson 3.3, Video 2. Cubic function. Now, cubic function is as it should be if you think about the word cubic. It means you have a power of 3 within your function. Now, what that means is it causes, because it's power of 3, it causes your parabola to change directions. So here we have a parabola that looks like it's going to be going downward like that. But what happens is the cube part causes it to bend upward. So it changes directions. And that is a result of having a power of 3. It also has a stipulation that says a cannot be equal to 0, because remember, if a is equal to 0, it will cancel away that monomial there, and you're left with just bx squared plus cx plus d, which is quadratic. So you cannot have an a that's equal to 0 if you want it to be cubic. Alright, next one is absolute value. Now, as was described with quadratics, quadratics are U-shaped, and we say that, and you have to be aware of that because absolute values are V-shaped. Now, we have to be aware of an absolute value in our functions at all times because absolute values make things positive. Alright, so if we had a table, if we have a table and we're going to plug values in with the understanding that our function is the absolute value of x, then if I plug a 3 in, the absolute value of 3 is 3 because it just makes things positive. The absolute value of 0 is 0, and the absolute value of negative 3 is 3 because again absolute value makes things positive. So if you look at a graph, when you plug in positive numbers like a positive 1, you get a positive 1. Plug in a positive 2, you get a positive 2. So that is a normal curve or a normal line right there. However, if you were to plug in a negative number, a negative 1 would give you a positive 1 because that's what absolute value does. If you plug a negative 2 in, you get a positive 2. And that's how it changes directions. Now it changes directions, but not like cubic because they are straight lines. So it's kind of like quadratic, it's kind of like a U, but these are very straight lines. Hence we say it's V-shaped. And that's all because of the absolute value. Exponential functions. This word exponential has been used before in terms of something can grow exponentially, which means it grows very fast. It grows very fast. Alright, now an observation here. If you look at the equation, notice that the variable x is now in the power position, and that's what causes things to grow exponentially. Now it happens here that there's two criteria we have to follow, and one is that a must be greater than 0. Okay, it can't be 0 because 0 to any power is 0, and that's a constant. That's not growing at all. It also has the criteria that a being greater than 0 cannot be 1, because again, 1 to any power, 1 to the 1 power is equal to 1, 1 squared is equal to 1, and so on. That's also constant. So it has to be greater than 1, or excuse me, greater than 0, so it's positive, but it can't be 1. And this ends Lesson 3.3, Video 2.